We're looking at homework from section 2.4. This is question number 8. The numbers of regular season wins for 10 football teams in a given season are given below. Determine the range, mean, variance, and standard deviation of the population data set. So, if we start with part A, find the range, remember the formula for range is that it is the difference between the maximum data value and the minimum data value. So it's max value minus min value. And the maximum data value here is 15. The minimum is 2. So the range is 15 minus 2, which is 13. So that's our answer to part A. In part B, we're finding the mean of the data set. And if we recall from our notes, the mean is the sum of each data entry in the set divided by the number of entries. So we have two formulas. Mu equals the sum of x over capital N, or x bar equals the sum of the x's over lowercase n. So this was a population value. We were told at the end that it was a population data set. So we use sigma of x over capital N. Sigma of x means add up all the data values, and we divide by the total number of data entries. If we add up these 10 numbers, they add up to 74. So the mean is 74 divided by 10, which is 7.4. That's the answer to part B. In part C, we're trying to find the variance of the data set. Now this formula from our notes about the variance, since it's a population, the population variance is sigma squared equals the sum of the x minus mu's squared divided by capital N. So we're going to make a little table here where I've listed all of my data values in a column for the x's. Then I have to subtract away the mean that I found in part B from each of those data entries. And then once I have those subtractions, I square the results. So for the 2, we're subtracting the mean, which was 7.4, and 2 minus 7.4 is negative 5.4. We take the 8 and subtract 7.4, and that gives us 0.6. So for each of these data values, we're subtracting 7.4. For 15, we get 7.6. For 2, we get negative 5.4. For 12, we get 4.6. For 6, we get negative 1.4. For 11, we get 3.6. For 10, we get 2.6. For 2, we get negative 5.4. And for 6, we get negative 1.4. So those are the x minus mu values. Now we're supposed to square each one of those. Squaring those values will make them positive. So when I square the first value, I get 29.16. Then 0.36. 57.76, 29.16, 21.16, 1.96, 12.96, 6.76, 29.16, and 1.96. So to find the variance, we're going to apply this formula that we just saw. Sigma squared equals the sum of the x minus mu's squared divided by capital N. So that means we have to add up this last column. The last column adds up to 190.4. So we have 190.4 divided by 10 because 10 was the size of this population. And 190.4 divided by 10 is 19.04. So that's our variance. In part D, we're trying to find the standard deviation. To find the standard deviation, we see this formula. The population standard deviation, sigma, is the square root of the sum of the x minus mu's squared divided by capital N. But we also remember this statement, that to find the standard deviation, you take the square root of the value of the variance. So we just found the value of the variance was 19.04. So sigma will be the square root of 19.04, and the square root of 19.04 is 4.36348, and that decimal repeats for a long time, but in the problem we were asked to round off to one decimal, so this is 4.4. So part D, the standard deviation, is 4.4. And that's your answer.